Okay, we'll turn attention to other stories now. Armed men suspected to be Fulani herdsmen reportedly attacked Gbimacha Council Ward in Gwere local government area of Benue State last week, allegedly killing an elderly man and 3 others in a midnight raid on the community.
That's called Gwere local government.
Okay.
All right, that's the latest update on attacks
Benue
by latest updates on attacks by herdsmen who have been terrorizing residents of many villages in Nigeria. But let's play back this report on how the armed men suspected to be Fulani herdsmen wreaked havoc on some villages in southern Kaduna.
Burnt houses and destroyed properties dot the landscape in this part of Nigeria, popularly called southern Kaduna. The people have been traumatized and rendered homeless. They have also lost loved ones. Trouble appears to be a common feature which these people have become accustomed to. But they say it is usually resolved.
We've had the Zangon cut off crisis. We've had the one that happened in the College of Education, getting where that spilled into Kaduna. We've had 1 or 2 small crises here and there.
The last 6 years haven't been the best of times for them at all. Marauding Fulani militia destroy properties and kill people in unprecedented numbers. And in most instances, they are said to be unknown. But the narrative took a very worrisome dimension in 2013 when Manchok and other areas in the region were invaded, again by Fulani herdsmen. Chawe, Ninte, Godogodo and Goska had their share of the attacks in 2016, and since then, questions have not ceased from the lips of many.
Their intention here are we to leave this place. For what? We don't know. Here we are born. Here they meet us.
It's a crisis that we can comfortably and with all sense of seriousness describe it as genocide.
Several communities across Nigeria have similarly been attacked by suspected herdsmen. But there are several twists to the unrest that has persisted in southern Kaduna. Who are the so-called herdsmen? Where do they come from? Why do they carry out these attacks? What are their desires? And why are they never caught? Curfew was imposed on 3 local government areas in the region. This was prompted by intelligence reports pointing to looming crisis that would have snowballed out of control. The Nigerian police has announced plans for the establishment of a squadron. That's about 700 mobile policemen to be stationed permanently in Kafanchan. This, among other policies of government, it is hoped would lead to lasting peace in southern Kaduna. Tessem Akende, TVC News, Kafanchan.
Very good question there from Tessa Makende. Who are these Fulani herdsmen? Seems to be a question that nobody has any answers to.
A lot of people have different rhetorics as to where they come from. Some say it's from Mali, or that's from Senegal, from Niger Republic, and all of that. But if they're from these countries and you can identify really
where
that they came from these countries, what are they doing in Nigeria? Do they have papers? Do they have the right to, big question in there. Now, joining us on Skype is the chairman, Core Middle Belt Values, David Azaman. He's joining us from Kaduna. David, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, really nice.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to have you join us right now. The developments on killings by either in southern Kaduna or in Benue State or anywhere in the country has become a source of concern to lots and lots of Nigerians. You are there in Kaduna. Can you give us an update? Because government, the military, all of them, even community leaders, we were told in recent reports that moves were made to bring normalcy to the society in southern Kaduna. What's up now?
Yes, as you know, on the 19th and 20th of February, there was an attack on Bakin Kogi and also attacker chiefdom in Nifi, in Zealand, and Ashim. And that time, that is between 19th and 20th of February, about 26 people are reported to have been killed. And houses, more than 100 houses, were destroyed. And one of the saddest things that even happened there, the gruesomeness of the attack. A woman who just gave birth, just 8 days, she gave birth 8 days. The baby was just 8 days old. This woman was born to death. So, and in southern Kaduna, there are so many silent killings that have been happening, even before the attack on Bakin Kogi, Mifi, Zilan, and Ashim. Our people cannot go to their farms and harvest their crops. When they dare go to the farms, the Fulanis, some of them hiding on top of trees, they shoot them. And these Fulanis sent their cattle who now graze on this farmland. And these Fulanis, in fact, they moved their families into this settlement. And also, most of the villages that are destroyed, these Fulanis go ahead and start looting even zinc. They start dismantling zinc of houses to go and build their own houses. So this is a genocide, and this is depopulation. They are depopulating us so that they will take over our land. I heard in the background, the reporter in Kafanchan was asking, who are these people? The governor knows the people. Governor of Kaduna State knows them. He was reported in December 2016, 4th of December, leadership newspaper, and I quote, he said he has gone to play Cameroon, Mali, Niger, to pay these Fulani men to stop killing. So we cannot be asking the question, who are these Fulanis? The governor himself knows them. And also the reporter said, what are their desires? The governor also mentioned their desires. He said they are on a revenge mission. They are on a revenge mission because of 2011 election crisis. But we keep on saying that 2011 election crisis, more than 800 people died, not in southern Kaduna, but in northern Nigeria. I don't know why they are particular with southern Kaduna.
Are you saying then, very good question, David, let me come in here because I was going to ask you, yes, these Fulani herdsmen have been attacking not only southern Kaduna, of course they've been in far-flung places like Enugu, Ekiti, of course Agatu in Benue. But for some reason, southern Kaduna seems to be a major target for this herdsmen. Of course, they've been ranked the 4th deadliest terror group in the world. Now, why is southern Kaduna such a soft spot, a main target for this herdsmen? Beyond, you just said, you know, something about politics. Now, are you saying that there's some kind of political dimension to this?
The southern Kaduna or the Middle Belt issue, it is not political. It is an agenda. And that is why no matter the government that is in power, whether PDP, whether APC or any party whatsoever, this agenda will continue. It has not started today, but the gruesomeness of the attack today is worrisome. The government, we can see that there is no willpower, there is no willingness from the government to stop this crisis. You see, why the issue is so, the problem is too much in southern Kaduna. Let me tell you, axis like Tafawa Balewa in Bauchi State, who also have witnessed such kind of attacks in the past. Plateau State, Jos area, Birom axis, also experienced such attacks in the past. Then southern Kaduna now, these places are buffer zones for these Fulani. Those are moving southward. What they are after is to take over land. They started this thing about 1,000 years ago. It is not today. That's one thing we should understand. The
right, David.
originated from Morocco.
All right,
Okay.
David.
Yes.
David will come back. David,
I can hear you.
David, let me put you on hold. We'll come back because we need to understand some of these things. The foundation of what these you've used the word genocide. You've used the word an agenda. Oh, we have to come back to understand all that. Let's put you on hold. We'll go on a break. We'll be back shortly, but don't forget too that will be going on a news update at top of the hour.
Yep. All right, we're discussing the unending herdsmen attacks. Our guests in the studio, well, actually via Skype, is David Azaman. He's in Kaduna speaking to us via Skype. He's chairman, Core Middle Belt Values. Thanks for remaining with us. Now, I know that there have been a couple of moves to bring peace back to southern Kaduna. Of course, there was this peace group led by former head of state Abdul Salam Abubakar. In that group also is Hassan Kuka, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto. What impact has this trip of theirs made so far, of course, including those of so many others?
The National Peace Committee set up by former leader or former head of state, General Abdul Salam Abubakar, is a welcome development. They did their own part, though we have not had the outcome or their findings, what they have found out on southern Kaduna. But I was opportune to be in one of their meetings. I was at Kagoru, where they met with traditional rulers from southern Kaduna, and I was also in a hall in Kafanchan, where Abdul Salam Abubakar met with the youth, and which I was there, and I spoke to that committee. And I could remember, even while we were speaking with this peace committee, there was an attack that was going on Angwa Masara in Kafanchan, as even the committee was holding its meeting in Kafanchan. So you can see the audacity and the effrontery of these Fulani people. And they are very well aware that such a meeting was going on. And the general, the former head of state, knew about the attack. So, yes, so many groups have come and so that they can bring peace in southern Kaduna. And the governor of Kaduna State, Nasu El-Rufai, we also expect him to champion such kind of peace summit, which the former head of state, Kuka and Cardinal Onaye Khan, they set up. But instead, the governor didn't do that. Instead, the governor has become the official spokesperson of the Fulani. We are made to believe that this governor has taken sides, because anytime he is talking, he talks on behalf of the Fulani people.
But that's quite an indictment. David, if I may come in, that's a serious indictment of the governor of Kaduna State. Are you saying then he should fold his arms and not do anything? Is he not? The moves he's trying to make, whether it is to settle this Fulani herdsmen killers by payment or whatever, and of course there's the discussion about grazing land. Is he not trying to just, achieve peace in not only southern Kaduna, but the whole of Kaduna for that matter?
No. Instead of achieving peace, this governor is inciting. He's not careful with his words. And, there is no indictment like the governor going ahead to pay murderers. How can you, as a governor of a state, go ahead and pay people that are killing your own people? What more indictment is more than that? And apart from that, he is doing nothing for the victims. Look at the kind of things they are SEMA, that's the State Emergency Management Agency. If you see the kind of assistance they are giving these people, it's nothing to write home about. It's laughable. You understand? So, and whenever the governor is talking, he'll be accusing southern Kaduna people. The pastors in southern Kaduna, he said they are using this southern Kaduna issue to solicit for money from abroad in the name of relief material. It is so bad when we hear this from governor of Kaduna State. He's supposed to be the governor of everybody. But anybody from southern Kaduna that even dares to talk, he will arrest him. He has arrested Luka Binet. In fact, today, this morning, the hearing will come up in the magistrate court in Kaduna. He has arrested John Fulani. And
All
he's
right.
now checking out to Mekori
all right.
of arrest.
David.
So he's taking sides. He shouldn't do that.
Yeah, David, we certainly know when there's a dispute. It is always good to listen to all sides.
Yes.
You have told us your side, so we just listen. We hope that opportunity will come for us to hear from the government side on some of these developments and all of that. But
Yes.
what is important is having a disposition towards lasting peace in southern Kaduna and all of Nigeria as far as that is concerned. David Azaman, Chairman, Core Middle Belt Value, thanks for talking to us right now.
All right, let's start with the first big story this morning. The privatization of Nigeria's power sector is regarded as one of the boldest privatization initiatives, with a transaction cost of about $2.5 billion.
That's a big one. But many Nigerians say that there is yet to be any noticeable change in the power situation in the country. And the process include the dissolution of the National Electricity Power Authority, NEPA, the creation of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, as an initial holding company, and the creation of 18 successor companies consisting of 6 power generation companies, 11 power distribution companies, and 1 transmission company.
Now, the power generating companies are responsible for producing all the power consumed in Nigeria, and power plants are the source points of electricity. After power is generated, the generation companies, also known as GENCOs, evacuate the energy to the transmission company, who in turn send it to the distribution companies. They send electricity to the final consumers, and the transmission company is responsible for all the transmission network in the country. They manage the electric poles, transmission towers, and cables, etc.
All right, the debt burden of generation companies is making it impossible to pay contractors, repair and change obsolete machines. As at November 2016, GENCOs were said to be owed more than 300 billion naira, while the DISCOs have complained of being owed more than 100 billion naira by customers.
Now, GENCOs generate power, and the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, PLC, acts as a wholesaler which takes all the power being generated and sells to the DISCOs. NBET is expected to collect money from the DISCOs for the sale of electricity. And some have even gone on to say the debt crisis in the power market was primarily because the DISCOs were not remitting more than 50% of what they should remit to the bulk trader, NBET, for onward payments to producers of electricity and gas supplies.
Now, the NBET was set up by the government to support the power sector financially.
All right, joining us from Abuja is the spokesperson, Association of Power Generation Companies, Joy Ogaji. Good morning and thanks for joining us all the way from Abuja.
Good morning.
All right, so let me just ask you first off, so we can get that off the table. Is the power sector in Nigeria about to collapse under this huge debt burden that we hear is somewhere? It's almost close to ₦1 trillion.
And in answering to your question, if the power sector is going to collapse, I don't think I have the authority to answer if it's going to collapse or not. But I'm glad to tell you here that following a fake approval of last week on Wednesday, I think to be precise, the federal government has earmarked about 701 billion as a form of a guarantee for the PPAs, which I believe will be a buffer for the GENCOs going forward. We are yet to get more details on that.
All right,
Okay.
Joy.
If that is true, then I think the power sector will not collapse.
All right, Joy, make us understand, because when it comes to the technicalities of what it takes to have light in homes and offices, Nigerians may not know the details, and maybe so many Nigerians don't even want to know. What they want to know is I want to have light in my house. But how difficult is it from your point to ensure there's light in the homes of Nigerians?
Okay, generation of power, just as, in fact, when I go to programs, I do call Nigerians, we are all generation companies. Because each and every, let me now say each and every Nigerian, the majority of Nigerians are generating power in one way or the other. The market women have what we call the I pass my neighbor. So we all know how power is generated. I don't want to go into the details of how power is actually generated. Now, the generation or the I pass my neighbor, which we all own, needs to be fueled. Apart from fueling it, you need to service it from time to time. And sometimes, depending on your business or how big your house is, you need a security man to operate that generator. Same for the generation companies. We buy gas for those of the thermal powers, and then the other ones are the hydros that use water. Nothing, no ingredients or no material in generation is free. Everything is being paid for in one way or the other, including the O&M services, that is operation and maintenance team, other power sector operatives that put all the generation into place. So you can see that from the beginning, from day one, when you set up or buy the land and then start conducting your EIA and other survey, money is being spent all the way until the first megawatt is being generated. Now, why are Gencos struggling?
Good question.
Very
Prior
good question.
to this time, as we all know, electricity was being managed by the federal government. It was a vertically integrated one, where government is in charge of distribution, is in charge of generation as well as transmission. On the 1st of November, the federal government of Nigeria took a very bold step and privatized the distribution as well as the generation arm. Now, having done this, the federal government also put in place some mechanism such as a bulk trader. Now, what is the role of a bulk trader? A bulk trader is like a buffer, somebody who provides guarantee, somebody who provides a soft landing. Because of the fear of investors, the federal government promised Gencos, you don't need to worry, we have well-capitalized bulk trader who will ensure that as much as you generate, it will be paid for. So on the 1st of November, as I repeat, 2013, these generating assets were handed over to all the preferred bidders. We all know their names, and they are all spread all over Nigeria. They started their generation business and increased generation from 5,000 megawatts, which was the earmarked as at the time they took over. And currently, I can tell you that all Gencos have an installed capacity of 12,500 megawatts. You can see from 2013 to date how much the generation companies have ramped up, and they are willing to put all of this on the grid.
Okay,
I'm here to also tell you that they cannot put it on the grid.
Let me come in here. Now, you have the generating companies or generation companies, the Gencos, the TCN, which is still largely in the hands of government, and of course the distribution companies. Where exactly is the missing link in this particular chain that is causing the problem of poor power supply in Nigeria as it is?
Well, as they say, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. If you want me to start listing the weak links in those chains, there are so many. We have regulatory weakest link, we have transmission weak link, and we also have, I can't mention, I won't say distribution, because as a Genco, I don't have any contract with the distribution companies. By the principle of privity of contract, we have a contract with bulk trader. We will supply power, you will pay us. So if you ask me what are the various weak links, with my knowledge in the power sector, I'll tell you we have regulatory issues, serious ones. We have a transmission issue, very serious one as well. And then for the distribution, that is for government to state what the issues of the discos are. Like I said, I don't have a contract with them, so I can't speak on that issue. I have contract with bulk trader. So now bulk trader is not performing according to his contractual obligation.
All right, Joy. All right, Joy.
Joy.
Let's put you on a hold, Joy. We'll come back to have a better understanding, because I know you're taking us somewhere to understand this. We'll come back shortly. We'll go on a break now, but don't forget, we're going out on TVC Entertainment. Viewers there can continue with TVC Breakfast on TVC Nigeria, on Concert Channel 190 and DSTV Channel 418.
And of course, you can continue to watch the show on GoTV 45 and ACTV 510. Stay with us. Right, you're welcome back. Sometime last week, Mike, the GENCOs, the generating companies, actually put out a warning out there to Nigerians that in another month or so, there will be total darkness in the country.
Exactly.
The simple reason being that they're being owed.
They're being owed. Yeah, and they seem all of this is basically, it boils down more to issues of money, cash, and cash.
Yeah.
But
Indeed.
that is on one hand. We still have the skill, we still have the equipment, we still have, because a lot of people say
you have the gas
this.
supply that is
Exactly.
in very low quantity, and of course aging transmission infrastructure and all of that. Our guest in our Abuja studio is Joy Ogaji. She's the spokesperson for the GENCOs. Let's just keep it simple.
Generating companies.
Companies, yes.
For those who are following from outside of Nigeria who may not know what GENCOs are. Executive Secretary. She is the Executive Secretary of the Association of Power Generation Companies in Nigeria. All right, Joy, before we went on break, you were making a point. But let me ask you this. Now, give us a perspective. Do you feel that the government had, at first, when you were coming in, when they were unbundling NEPA into PHCN and bringing in all these private companies, what they promised, the guarantee they gave, the surety they gave, has government lived up to that expectation?
Well, if government has lived up to its expectation, we will not be having this problem in the power sector currently. We have serious issue of sanctity of contracts, skipping to the terms of the contracts. And if government, not only in the power sector, also in other sectors, if government can start keeping to the terms of the contract, I speak as a Nigerian, we will save a lot of money as well, because default is also causing us a lot of money, I will say, because I'm speaking as a lawyer. There are default clauses in every contract. And when the government does not keep to the terms of its contract, you know the implication, the penalties, and everything that goes with it. And we are suffering that in the power sector.
All right.
The original design, yes.
Yeah, but let me ask you this too. Apart from government, the GENCOs, the companies that are coming, or they were coming, or they came to take over the companies, have they also lived up to expectation?
Well, that is also where government comes in. In a post-privatization, in any country where privatization has taken place, side by side with the privatization, you put in place a firm monitoring and benchmarking organization or agency that will monitor these operators side by side with the contract they signed. So if you ask me that question, if the operators are meeting up or are keeping up to the terms of their contract, I think that question is not for me to answer, it's for government to answer. If the monitoring agencies are doing what they ought to do, and if they are benchmarking them to the KPIs that are all contained in their business plans. Speaking for the generation companies, I will tell you, and I stand to be corrected, that the generation companies are keeping to the terms of their contracts. And as a lawyer, being the executive secretary, part of my role is to ensure that they are compliant.
Okay, now in your earlier submission, you did touch on regulatory issues as part of the weakest link in this chain. Now, what kind of regulatory issues are you talking about? You want to itemize them for us so that we have a clear understanding of what you're saying?
Yes. Well, I will try my best. The regulatory risk or issues I'm talking about is when the regulators will come up with a particular regulation today, and just before that regulation is being implemented, midway it is changed. You know, changing the game plan in midway. When the new operators came on board, they saw the various orders, regulations, policies that were in place. Just midstream, most of these regulations were changed for the discos, for the gencos, and we kept on just going back and forth. Today is interim rule period. It was not envisaged in the EPSRA, which is the Electricity Power Sector Regulatory Act 2005, which is the ground norm or the constitution of the power sector. Then after the interim period, we are currently in the transition electricity market, which is TEM. Now, what is TEM? TEM is a stage where all contracts in the market are effective. But I'm here to tell you that no contract in the market is effective. But we say we are in the transition electricity market. So you can see the somersaults here and there. I know that a newly privatized entity definitely will go through some teething period. But then, teething period from 2013 till 2017, don't you think that the teeth should have been grown enough?
To what extent then has this regulatory failures, if I could put it that way, affected the service delivery?
Well, it affects service delivery in so many ways, because one of the role of the regulator, if you check EPSRA, that is the constitution I just quoted for you, EPSRA 2005, section 32, subsection 1A to about subsection 2. You will see the role of the regulator, and one of the role is to monitor efficiency and effectiveness in the market, ensure that enforcement and penalties are meted out and sanctions issued for defaulters. Where the regulator itself is also defaulting, how can you regulate a market where you yourself you are causing most of the risk?
All right, that picture is really worrisome if we have to analyze and deduce the deducibles from there. But Joy, let me ask you, because regulation is very key and central to the effectiveness of all of this contract and all of that, ensuring everyone complies to the contract terms. But how helpless is the situation right now from where we are, from the minds of Nigerians who want light or power in their homes? How helpless is the situation?
Well, what I can say is that I think there is a light in the tunnel. Recently, I think exactly on the 7th of February, to be precise, the federal government has appointed the new commissioners, and they were inaugurated on the 7th of February. Although currently they don't have a chairman, but they have the vice as in acting capacity. We are hoping that now that we have a commission, they will right all the wrongs.
Okay, now talk to us a bit more about this 701 billion naira for guarantee for the PPAs that you say government, the Federal Executive Council has released. I know that sometime, was it last year, the CBN actually released some 213 billion naira bailout to cover revenue shortfalls, Now, tell us what difference this money, especially the one from the CBN, has made so far, and how soon do you expect the release from the FEC, the money from the Federal Executive Council to be released?
I would have loved to answer your question elaborately, but I'm sorry to disappoint you. The only information we have gotten is the same everyone read on the paper. We saw it on the paper that FEC has approved 701 billion naira for the GENCOs on account of power purchase guarantee. How this will be implemented, we don't know about it. When this will commence, we don't know about it. What is the sharing formula? We have not been informed.
All right, but what about the release from the bailout from the Central Bank of Nigeria, about 213 billion naira?
Well, in several scenarios, I've always explained that that money actually was not a bailout fund, especially for the generation companies. These were monies of accrued power that had been generated, not yet paid. So the federal government came in the form of intervention that, okay, let's get some money from CBN to pay the generation companies of their accrued arrears that have not been paid for power that already has been supplied and consumed.
All right,
upon issuing this money, the CBN brought out so many criteria here and there, and I think the question on why the money has not been disbursed is better answered by CBN.
All right, obviously we'll take it that the money is still with the CBN. All right, Joy, just stay with us. We'll take a quick break and return to discuss this even further. Stay with us.
Right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast. We are discussing power generation this morning, and a lot of Nigerians have had cause to complain of electricity and power in their homes, in their offices, and business places, and all of that. We have with us in our Abuja studio Joy Ogaji. She is the Executive Secretary of the Association of Power Generating Companies in Nigeria. And we've been talking about this to have an understanding of what the difficulties or challenges are in bringing light to or bringing electricity to people's homes.
There's a huge debt burden, and that's
Huge
exactly
one, very huge.
the crux of the matter this morning. And so how will the GENCOs, indeed DISCOs, and all the different arms that it is their job to ensure there's electricity for Nigerians to consume, how will they survive under this huge burden? Joy Ogaji, now this question is to you. What are there any creative ways that the GENCOs and the other arms are, coming up with to actually ensure that there is light, at least to a reasonable extent? Every day we hear Nigeria has some 5,000 is it kilowatts or megawatts of electricity? Megawatts of electricity. And yet the ordinary man on the street will ask you, well, there's no light anywhere. Joy.
Yes. Like I said, the generation companies are set and are ready to supply power to Nigeria to the tune of 12,500 megawatts by their installed capacity. As we speak today, they have an available capacity of 7,500 megawatts. But we can't get this power to you. Nigerians should hear. The transmission system cannot take more than 4,500 megawatts. And we cannot fetch power with buckets. We would have done it. When the privatization was being put in place, the federal government said they have put in place a mechanism to strengthen the transmission system, that it can take up to 7,000. That was as at 2013. That was a promise. That by this 2017, our transmission system would have improved to 10,000 and above. But as we speak today, 4,500 megawatts, put it on the grid, and the grid will start dancing Atilogo dance. And the power will just be rejected.
That's the funniest thing I've heard on this show in a while. Atilogo. Okay, well, that's interesting. Are you saying then that there's a lot of power being generated that is actually wasted. Is that what it is?
Correct. Quote me anywhere. I have recently written an article. I think maybe after this time you can look at it. I call it the Akara model. I broke down the Nigerian power problem to the scenario of Akara seller who buys beans and all the other ingredients she needed to produce Akara. After producing 1,000 Akara, she has the transporter who can transport it to her customers. But after signing agreement with him that he can transport the 1,000, when she gives him the 1,000, he rejects 500, saying that his truck is not strong enough, which is the transmission problem. We generate up to 100%, like 100%, 50 is rejected.
Wow.
And the government has not put in place anything to compensate us for that 50% that is rejected. Like power is not something you can store. As you generate, you must consume. As at yesterday, frequency was very high. Ask any engineer. When frequency is very high, it means that people are not consuming power. And then the system operator will call my generating companies, shut down, reduce. And this thing is impacting our machine, is destroying us. We are wasting gas.
Okay.
And operators
all right.
paying them for work that we are not being paid for.
Okay, Joy, we must thank you for giving us this idea, letting us know that the installed capacity is about 12,000, and then what is generated is about 7,000, but what can be transmitted practically can go beyond 4,005. All right, so we'll certainly look forward to understanding this more as we get along, because time is not on our side right now. But thank you, Joy Ogaji, Executive Secretary of the Association of Power Generating Companies. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning. All right, we'll get into our talk time now, but in a few minutes we'll be going on the break. But let's lay the foundation to this. The leadership crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Nigeria is denying citizens of a credible opposition that can help put the ruling All Progressives Congress on its toes.
Yes, and the internal wranglings seem to defy all attempts at reconciliation by leaders of the party. As the PDP continues to make different moves to resolve its problems and bring lasting peace to the party, one can only wonder how things will play out.
Internal wrangling in the People's Democratic Party is the major talking point for these FCT residents here. They indulge in this daily ritual of looking through the national dailies to determine the direction of government and exchange divergent views. The fate of the PDP is the focus on this particular day, and they are worried that if the crisis rocking the party is not resolved soon, the masses will be denied an alternative platform they could turn to in the face of the constant rise in the cost of living.
Nigerians have multifarious problems. They are just in pains bearing these maladministrations. The main issue is the abject condition in which we see our life regressing, and the country itself is regressing.
As at now, they have not resolved their internal crisis. So we are wondering how are they going to resolve it to begin to challenge the opposition, the ruling party.
Since the appeal court judgment, party leaders have been holding talks to find a lasting solution to the crisis. Even the governors have reversed their rigid stance and have embraced a political solution, a development that has been endorsed by both Ali Modu Sharif and the Reconciliation Committee. But members of the Caretaker Committee have continued to accuse the ruling party of having a hand in its crisis, an accusation this APC party faithful refutes.
It would be unwise for any person to think Sharif is working for APC. So I know in those good old days, he was in AMPP while we were also in AMPP. But he left a long time ago. PDP has a problem. Let them go and solve their in-house problem.
The party leaders indeed must urgently put their house in order. and the calls by the Reconciliation Committee for a unity convention in order to restore the party to its past glory is certainly not out of place. Do Shima Abu, TVC News, Abuja.
Right, many people have said the main problem with the PDP is that it was always prepared only to win but never prepared to lose, and is that the reason why it's still having the kind of challenges it's having right now? And our guest in the studio is already laughing at that suggestion. He is the new PDP chairman, Lagos State, Moshood Salvador. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I wonder why you know, grimaced or
nobody loved to lose.
Nobody.
All right, we'll come back to this. Let's go on a break, and we have more time to talk about this. All right, we also have from our Abuja studio, the PDP chieftain, Shehu Gabam. Shehu, good morning. Right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and on the segment we'll be talking about the People's Democratic Party. There are moves from different sections of the country to bring lasting peace, because there seems to be some level of dispute between one faction or the other faction, either at the national level or state levels or even lower levels at different parts of the country. But we have with us in the studio the PDP chairman, Lagos State, Moshood Salvador, right in here. We also have from our Abuja studio, a PDP chieftain, Shehu Gabam, joining us there. But let's start with you, Moshood. The crisis in PDP, whether at the national level or the local level, even in Lagos State where you were, a lot of dispute as the case may be. Why has it become difficult at this time now to put all of these wranglings behind it?
Yeah, it will always be difficult because politics is all about interest. It's about the people, then about interest. Once an interest becomes the baby of many, therefore there will be disagreement. Because I want it, you want it, he wants it, she wants it. So there will definitely, therefore that is why the internal democracy is always very important and very germane, so that they can put all this together under a very good, I underline, good and credible leadership, who would be able to put everything straight such that everybody will be happy. Once you do a very good primaries, congress, convention, everything like that, forget it. You will never have. And you have to, a leadership have to act. The leadership has to be the type that will act like a father.
So do you have that good and credible leadership right now?
In Nigeria, it's very scarce.
At the center?
It's always very scarce.
At the center, at the party?
It's always very scarce. Generally,
with the
Nigeria,
PDP we're talking about?
We won't talk about PDP, we are talking of Nigeria. Nigerians are PDP are Nigerian, APC are Nigerian. Oh, that credibility is the problem we are nursing in this country of today. And that is why nobody trusts, even we don't trust the government. People don't have confidence in government. Government will say this, they will doubt. Another, nobody has it's a very Herculean task.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's bring in Shehu in here. Yeah.
Yes. Of course, Shehu Gabam is in Abuja. Now, let me take it from the comments that many political watchers have been making over time, especially since the PDP lost power at the center. That the PDP simply was not ready or did not prepare to lose, that it actually took Nigerians for granted. Would you be on the same page with those who make such comments? Or why is it that the center seems not to be able to hold as far as the PDP is concerned till date?
PDP was not prepared to lose. Every political party knows that in any election they are bound to lose or they are bound to win. And all of us PDP faithfuls were quite aware, very glaring, that before 2015, we were facing a lot of challenges. Those challenges were too obvious of likelihood of losing the election. The indices were very, very clear. But that's not the issue. The issue is that did the party build a very strong foundation to keep the country going, to build an independent structure, build a political mindset of the people? The answer is yes. The vision of the founding fathers of the party was very strong. Along the line, we drilled by bringing people who are not core politicians to preside over the affairs of the party. And it takes a career politicians to run the structure of the party. So we drill along the line. We allow rascality, impunity, lawlessness, and imposition to take over the affairs of the party. These are the principal issues that have affected the party. And of course, if you could remember vividly, this is not the first time PDP was having a crisis. PDP was formed at the point of crisis. Those great patriots who started the process of formation of the PDP confronted the military machinery to a point of submission. And the military institutions agreed to allow political space, political participation. And that's what created what everybody is enjoying today, the democracy that everybody is enjoying today. So the founding fathers are conscious of the fact that these challenges are coming. And that's why if you look at the formation and the integration of the party, include the protection of every Nigerian, no matter where you come from, no matter your tribe or religion. The minorities were given the maximum opportunity to partake like any other Nigerian, vie for the office of the presidency. Like I've said, it was rascality, disobedience to the party constitution, imposition. Even a councillor was imposed on the party as of that. So these are the issues that really degenerated to the level that we find ourselves today. And naturally, when you allow such things to degenerate, you should expect losing election, because the basic indices that allow party to win election was absent. Internal democracy was absent. Rule of law was absent. Abuse of the process was also prominent all over the place. So it wasn't as if PDP was shocked that they have lost the election. We know that for sure. Given the scenario as of then, we are going to lose the election.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's good you give us this picture, this mind picture of what really went wrong. But if I have to pitch all of this, absence of that too, when you started earlier, you said, well, they've laid a good foundation. There's a good vision from the founding fathers. If we have to put this together, how do we reconcile where impunity comes in, you bring in all of these wrong things came in, and then there's no internal democracy? How do we pitch that against the vision that the founding fathers brought up? Would you call it a good vision?
Well, it is, like I've said, it was abused. If you could remember, recently the led caretaker committee by McCarthy constituted a strategy and inter-party affair. That document is one of the most excellent documents you can find in any political party. The visions and where lacunas are were addressed, where people use any gap available to bring behavior or impose a behavior that is not decent was also addressed, where the issue of delegates that constitute a lot of problems were addressed. Every vital organ that a party needs was addressed. That document is a wonderful document that was submitted, and if the party, organs of the party agreed to it and supported and passed it into operation, I can tell you that PDP would be better off for it. In any case, crisis strengthen parties, crisis strengthen institutions. We believe after losing office, we have over-ventilated, we over-accused ourselves, we over-tried, and we are remorseful where we went wrong. So we are fully determined to overcome these challenges. We have identified them, and we have proposed solutions for them.
All right. Is this where we actually take a break? No, let's come back to our guest in the studio, who is the new PDP chairman. Maybe you should even clarify for us, your new PDP chairman in Lagos State.
That's right.
Is it a factional chairman, or In one word, yes.
I am not a factional
You're
chairman.
not.
I am a PDP chairman because we had a Congress.
Okay.
And the video is there, all the record is there, INEC was present, police were there.
Everybody was.
Everybody
who needed to be there was there. Okay, that's good to know. Now, how do you respond to the statement from former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who said that his departure from the PDP and Ahmadu Ali, former chairman of the party, spelled the doom for that party?
Thank you very much. As long as, if you are conversant with court processes, if you make 10 statements and one happens to be a lie or false, then it can destroy the whole thing. Ahmadu Ali is still a member of PDP. I don't know where they got that information that Ahmadu Ali is no more a member of PDP, because he was at the last meeting they held. So I don't know where they got that information. So that one has also neutralized that statement. His exit, it's an ingrate, a statement from a statement of ingrates. I'm very sorry to say this. This is a man I respect so much. This is a party that's brought you from prison to presidency. No matter what, it's just like a father or a parent to a child and say, my child has done, my parent has done something. Have you forgotten when you were born little that you can be killed without anybody knowing? Have you forgotten where you were born, when they will go out, struggle to make sure you eat, you do this? Have you forgotten when they were paying your school fees? Have you forgotten when they were grooming you for success?
So the PDP
now you
did
now
all
become
of this
successful, you are now saying your parents are not good. It's not a good statement from a statesman like President Obasanjo, whom we look up to.
All right, now, let's put it this way. Now, we'll be going on a break. Okay, fine. Maybe we have to ask this question when we come back from the break. Still with us, we're discussing PDP on this segment of the program. We'll go on a break and then we'll return shortly.
Right, you're welcome back. You're watching TVC Breakfast, and at this point we're looking at fresh moves by the PDP to bring about reconciliation or peace in that party, so that, of course, the job of being a credible opposition party can be done. Well, our guest in the studio is a new PDP chairman, Lagos State, Moshood Salvador. Thanks for remaining with us. And of course, PDP chieftain in our Abuja studio, his Shehu Gabam. Thanks so much for remaining with us. Now, of course, it's open knowledge. Most people know that the PDP's house is not in order. And there have been so many attempts to achieve peace with the party. One moment, the McCarthy faction is ready to reconcile. And then the other, the Ali Modu Sharif is not ready. And on the other hand, you have the Modu Sharif side ready to make peace. And then the McCarthy side is not ready to make peace. So why is it difficult for the different factions to actually, get to a meeting point so that PDP can actually provide credible leadership or opposition? And my question is to Shehu Gabam.
Well, let me say this, and I think people need to know this. The process that produced McCarthy wasn't a normal process. It was, the process that produced Ali Sharif, the process that produces Ali Sharif. He wasn't nominated from Borno State to partake in that election. Some of us that were nominated from our states came for the exercise. He was brought in through the back door, through illegality. And of course, if you could remember, he was taken out of the convention also through the back door in Port Harcourt. So this is what I'm talking about. When a party allows itself, for a few people to abuse the process of the party and allow rascality and impunity and people to feel they are above the law to come in, you will naturally have this kind of situation. So I know that a lot of efforts has been made in the past, not just now, to reconcile the differences. I've been part of most of the processes of bringing peace and reconciliation. And I also know that of recent, the former president is putting a lot of energy to make sure that there is peace. But I can tell you that once you lay a foundation that is not solid, it is extremely difficult for it to stand. We said that given the Court of Appeal judgment in Port Harcourt, saying that the party violated the court order, we said, yes, you have passed your judgment, but there was no violation of the court order. The convention wasn't an elective convention. It was not an elective convention. And anybody who will say that the party convention have no power to do and undo is setting a national crisis. So our point is simple. Those who start the war should end the war. PDP do not take Ali Sharif to court. It's Ali Sharif who took PDP to court. So if Ali Sharif primary interest is PDP, secondary interest is PDP, because he's an alien to the PDP, he wasn't a member of the PDP, he doesn't know the vision of the party. Those who formed this party form it from the bottom of their heart. He was in the AMPP. He was less than 1 year as a member of the party after he was sent out of APC. And some people broke in through the back door and wrecked the party. So this is what created this problem. All of them must understand that the party is supreme, and the decision of the party is supreme. The decision of the convention is supreme. And the convention of Port Harcourt was an act of NEC. And it takes an act of NEC to postpone the convention. No individual have the power to postpone the decision that has been taken by NEC. So we believe that going to the Supreme Court, if the reconciliation presided over by the former Vice President fell, I'm definitely sure that the Supreme Court will bring justice to it, because once you said that the parties, conventional party have no power to do, then you are setting the whole country on national crisis, which means that I can defect to APC, do all the dirty plans that I have to do, and at the convention I'll wreck the party down.
All right,
so it's not about PDP, it's about national issue, national crisis.
All right, Shehu, thank you. We'll come back to that. Let me bring in Moshood in here. Earlier when you started, you were talking about the fact that, well, where you have interests, there can certainly be crises like this. But we also know that politics is a game of number.
That's right.
This interest is dividing the party. A lot of people are defecting from the party to other political parties. It is one of the reasons why PDP was robbed of the governorship in Ondo State, and so on as the case may be. How concerned are you that this interest is consuming and overwhelming the party?
Thank you very much. When my friend in Abuja was talking at the early stage, he said crisis strengthen the party. And at the same time, crisis can destroy.
It can make or mar the party.
It can make or mar. I agree with you with what you have said, but one major thing I want you to know is this. It is an excellent, it is good for PDP for this to happen now and settled finally, if properly settled, which I can assure you it will be properly settled. Immediately after that of PDP, you will start to see the APC one. And that will be too late for settlement, because it will be close for election, and that is where politicians take advantage of situation. Politicians take advantage of situation. The issue of the problem in the PDP, when people talk of faction, I always say no, I disagree. There's no faction. It is just leadership tussle we have between Al-Madu Sharif and McCarthy.
Is it not a matter of semantics?
It's not at all. Okay. It's just, let me tell you, definition of faction implies that all state secretariats of the two factions must have secretariats in all states and federal capital territory. What is happening is just in very few states where they can be able to say, how can you give someone letter and say, you go and be the state chairman of Adamawa, you go and be state chairman. It is not by the letter, it is by Congress. because you become a state chairman by Congress. So for you to know, it is no, if you do congresses in 2 places and all those processes are concluded, then I can agree there is a faction. But now it is leadership tussle, and without that, without straightening it, we cannot move forward. Okay. Let me clear some issues now. The issue of Alimadu Sheriff. Alimadu Sheriff came in to spend 3 months to conclude Adamu Muazu's tenure. Adamu Muazu's tenure has closed long ago, the day we did our convention. And secondly, on the expiration of that tenure, the constitution of PDP stated that the chairman should convene a convention for the election of another chairman, which Sheriff did. Yeah. He convened the convention and appointed a convention chairman. He also paid for nomination form that he wanted to contest again for chairmanship. He submitted himself for screening for the chairmanship. At that very point, he ceased to be the chairman of the party. At that very point, he has ceased to be the chairman of the party. But
nature abhors vacuum. Who should have stepped in within the period that he ceased to be the party
That is the
chairman?
deputy, secondus.
Of course,
you can understand, it is all this political something. They know the right thing and they will continue to destroy the party. Secondus was the one to step in. Immediately you submitted yourself for screening and you were out. On the floor of convention, he just noticed a game was on.
That was in Port Harcourt.
In Port Harcourt, and it decided to run away. You were running away, you didn't even go with your deputy. Therefore, you were not running away. You went away and had press conference that he called. No, it is not done like that. You were no more in charge.
So
the chairman of the convention was the one in charge
then, I wish we could, allow you to give us all of this background. That the problem that Alimadu Sheriff has right now is self-inflicted. Is that what you're saying?
It is. It is, because the Constitution itself allows for convention, and Constitution states that convention is the most powerful organ of the party. Okay. It can even say there's no more PDP.
It can dissolve.
It can dissolve the party. And in the Constitution too, it is also there that the convention can organize a committee for special assignments.
All right, so Shehu Gabam, let's bring this to you. Now that the appeal court in Abuja has said that Alimadu Sheriff remains the bona fide chairman of the PDP, what then? And why is it that the party really, all those who don't want Alimadu Sheriff as chairman now, what's wrong with waiting till June, when the next convention holds, to actually ease him out of power? Why the hurry?
Well, like I have said, the Court of Appeal for that court have said that Alimadu Sheriff is the chairman of the party. But if you look at the dissenting judgment, it's a judgment that nobody can beat, nobody can doubt the quality of the judgment, because a lot of provisions and act that supported the argument was very, very clear. Number two, we have the party have appealed against it, stay of execution, and I believe that Sheriff have gotten the notice of that. So the caretaker is carrying on his responsibility for now, because we have appealed against it. We are going to the Supreme Court, and I believe they have filed at the Supreme Court. Number two, I want you to know that nobody is interested in ridiculing the party or bringing the personalities that are involved to ridicule. We believe that Ali Sheriff should be honorable enough, should be humble enough to look at the interests of the party, the interests of Nigeria. Because by wrecking the system, the consequences is that you are creating more problems for the system as a whole, not just the PDP. You are managing a system that is very fragile. You are managing an economy that is going down, a political environment that is shrinking. And of course, when you think it's easy to take PDP down that have been in power for 60 years, you know that you are a joker. PDP have sufficient experience, if not sufficient, an experience that it can stand anywhere and talk about what it takes to be in power and what it takes to be in opposition.
Anyway, all right, Sheriff. Shehu, sorry.
Hold on for a second.
No, but we have to go on a break now. So let me put you on hold, Shehu.
95% of the organs of the party are
Shehu, let me put you on hold. We'll go on a break and then we come back to this. Thank you very much. We're still going ahead. So let's go on a break. We'll be back. All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast. We've been talking about the peace moves in the People's Democratic Party to restore normalcy so the party can stand as a strong opposition for the sake of democracy in Nigeria. We have with us Moshood Salvatore, the chairman of PDP, here with us in our Lagos studio. We have Shehu Gabam from our Abuja studio. He's a PDP chieftain. Now, Shehu, before we went on break, I had to put you on hold. You were giving us your analysis there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that 95% of the party organs are intact. Yesterday, the entire staff of the party secretariat addressed a press conference, and their position was very clear. 2, the board of trustees is intact. The governors' forums are intact. The caucus of the National Assembly are intact. So the 95% of the party organs are intact, which means that you have only about 2 to 3% that are making this trouble. Number 4, I want you to know that given the unfortunate statement by former President Obasanjo, when this party was formed, Obasanjo was in the prison. And I was one of those who fought against bringing Obasanjo and to give him leadership position. I went to court in 1999 because I told them that if you are zoning, allow it to the competent people from the zone to produce somebody who is competent. Southwest have one of the most qualified, experienced politicians that can vie for the office of the president. There's no reason for you to go and bring somebody from the prison and give him the president of Nigeria. So the benevolence of the founding father of the party was given to former President Obasanjo. If you want to know President Obasanjo very well, listen to Governor Fayoshe, who described him the way he described him yesterday. Finally, I want you to also know that some of us that have been part and parcel of the formation of the party from G7, we know this party. This party was designed to outlive anybody. No individual will come, no matter his level of rascality, to think he will take over this party or he will dominate this party. It is impossible. We had crisis during Obasanjo of late Sunday Awoni. We survived it. In fact, there was a parallel office opened by Sunday Awoni. We survived that. We have Baraje crisis also. We survived that. We are surviving this one. Like my chairman in Lagos have said, it is a leadership crisis. It is a leadership crisis because the organ of the party, 95 to 98% is intact.
Okay,
so we are not worried at all.
Let me quickly come in here.
That
Shehu Gabam, yes. Now, there have been recent meetings between former President Goodluck Jonathan and some of the party leaders, including PDP governors and different groups. Going forward, what impact would this particular meeting have on the peace move?
Well, the peace move is simply to see if the two people can come together and understand that the interests of the party supersede the interests of any one of them. And I know McCarthy is not a rigid person. I know he's a very simple person. He knows that he didn't bring himself. It's an act of convention that produces him. So he has no problem with that. If the consensus of all the organs of the party is unified, he has no problem with that. Two, the issue of convention being proposed by Senator Sharif, I don't know how someone can organize a convention when he doesn't have the structure of the party. The governors are not there. The National Assembly are not there. Board of Trustees are not there. All the major chairmen of the party in all the state of the federations are not there. So how could you hold a convention? So these are issues that are real. It is not an imaginary. These are practical issues in a political environment.
All right.
So for me, I just laugh when I saw this kind of rhetorics going on. I hope and I pray that the former president will assert his influence and ensure that reconciliation takes place, because in the first and foremost, he's supposed to have restored law and order in the party before leaving office. And I'm happy he's taking responsibility now, trying to restore that law and order.
Okay, good.
That's of lawlessness and the gap that created all this.
We'll have to leave it there. PDP chieftain Shehu Gabam in Abuja, thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast this morning.
All right, let's come back to you, Moshood.
Yes.
We have heard even party chieftains saying that the crisis in PDP right now, the leadership dispute, is a function of external forces from outside of PDP. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is not impossible. You cannot even erase it. You have to think in that line if you are in their shoe. Let me remind you, when I was in the House of Reps in 1999, I was elected into the House of Reps under the platform of AD. The same thing PDP did to AD that time so that they will be able to clinch Southwest. Because Obasanjo was the president and he lost the whole of Southwest to AD. Then how can he stand up and say and beat his chest as the president that was nominated from his house? That was why they had to create a parallel, real faction against the Maman Yusuf was our chairman. They now created Abdul Kadri as factional chairman and compensated him with ambassadorial position. How can AD member become an ambassador under PDP government? That tells you that he was a mole in AD, creating problem for AD, making sure we wasted money in court.
Yes,
and at
but
the end
like they say,
therefore,
the enemy within,
this one, once you have that experience,
yes,
experience is the key things. Once you have that experience, as soon as this one starts, you look left and right and look at the relationship of the actor, Al-Madu Sharif, and Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, and look at his relationship with the secretary to the federal government. All these people are in APC. Definitely, you will just put two and two together and be suspecting such thing happening.
Okay, we hardly have time. Let me take you up very quickly before I forget this. You've mentioned interest a couple of times.
That's right.
In your submission.
That's right.
And I'm just wondering, whose interest really? Is it the interest of the people or the interest of the politicians? Because when PDP talks about getting back power towards 2019, one would have imagined that the PDP would concentrate on the states where it has some kind of hold, where it has governors right now to provide good governance. And while it is hoping to get back power in 2019, provide opposition, credible one at that.
That's right. Yeah, it is. When you talk of interest, the party interest first It is the party interest that when you get that interest, it is the vehicle that you use to get government. When you now get government, you now extend it to the people. So no matter how you look at it, the interests are the beginning, either for the party or for you or whatever. Ab initio is for the people, because at the end of the day, you are going to extend or use the interest for the benefit of the people.
All right. 2018 will be most, categorically, we can say 2018 will be a political year towards 2019. And one is wondering what chances the PDP has towards 2019 presidency. Now, there are also talks about the fact that there's going to be a new political party, a new mega party, and PDP is going to be part of it and all of that. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, talking about new party or whatever, I don't have idea.
The so-called Advanced People's Democratic Party?
I don't have idea. I'm only reading. It's rumor to me as far as I am concerned.
Right.
I don't have idea, and our leadership has never discussed such with us.
Right.
Therefore, to me, it is rumor. To me, it is blackmail. To me, it is just name dropping or another strategy of destabilizing
All right,
our party.
talk to us about the chances for 2019 of PDP.
Thank you very much. The gesture displayed by APC, it's a very, very terrible gesture that is threatening democracy in Nigeria.
What do you mean by that?
Talk to us about
Thank you. When you are now talking of democracy, the strongest and most important is that of a council election, which is the closest service to the people. Nearly all the states in APC are changing their local election laws. That of Lagos State, let me make that one example for you. We were invited for stakeholders meeting some 3 weeks ago, just to know that they have changed the LASEC law that we are going to use for election. All the areas that any candidate that loses election, all what he can use as evidence in tribunal, they have spoiled it ab initio, even before going for election. One, I will state them and even give you the section of the laws.
Very quickly, because
yes,
we don't have
all the sections, like for example, one, all the presiding officers are going to be APC card-carrying member, one, and section 41 of the law state that presiding officer has the power to send anybody that refuse his order, that disobey him or her. They didn't even use instruction. They said order. Therefore, he can ask the police to remove agents or candidates of another party away from that place. Section 47 clearly stated that if the result of the election can only be given to police, not even candidate, not even agent, only the police, and they stated it, if any. Therefore, if there is no police, nobody gets statement of result of election. Then what are you going to present in the court? Section 81 clearly stated that the rejected ballot paper, nobody must record the serial number of rejected ballot paper. Anybody that do that has committed an offense and is liable to 3 months jail.
Wow.
This is worse than military decree.
This is a totally different matter that I'm sure we really have to make
find time.
When we are talking of democracy, you don't run away from that.
Definitely, we need time to look at some of these allegations that you've made. And I wonder, of course, there's no time to ask if you have proof about this APC card-carrying members who would be supervising the elections at the council level.
As long as they are the
we'll
one appointing the
we'll
presiding officers.
We'll have to leave
All right,
it
but
there.
They will not come and appoint presiding officer from PDP.
All right.
I can assure you that.
All right, Moshood Salvador, Chairman, PDP Lagos State, thank you for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
We also thank Shehu Gabam for joining us earlier on from Abuja. Yeah. He's a PDP chieftain. These are new revelation the PDP chairman has brought up now, but certainly we'll look forward to having a copy of that new law that has been put in place. We have to analyze it to make Nigerians understand what's going on. Yeah. But this is where we come to the end of today's edition. Have a great day ahead. I am Mike Okwache.
And I'll be enjoying the day before my birthday tomorrow. I had to just... Thank you so much for joining us. Mungazi and Lebu do have a beautiful day.